everyone. Welcome to the stress management class. My name is Buno Opute. So, who am I? I'm actually a certified mindset coach. I'm a certified rational emotive behavioral therapy coach. I'm also a certified cognitive behavioral therapy coach. I'm a health coach, a wellness coach, and a life coach. And I also have a certificate in nutrition. So let's get to the matter of today. What is stress? What is stress? A lot of times we use this terminology a lot, for so many times we actually use the term stress. I'm stressed out. You are stressing me. So what is stress? So, stress is actually how our body responds or reacts to a trigger in any given situation. It's actually how our body reacts, adjusts, or respond to a trigger. So, stress can also be defined as a feeling of emotional or physical tension. So, when we have tension in our body, either emotionally or physically, that is stress. Now, according to the International Labour Organization, it states that stress results in the death of nearly 2.8 million people, especially workers, every year. And according to the Institute of Heart Math, chronic stress has been recognized as the number one silent killer. You see, so stress is a silent killer because it can actually get all your systems not to function well. So, according to the American Medical Association, it has also noted that stress is the basic cause of more than 60% of all human illnesses and diseases. And in 2018, it was reported that 61.79% of medical deaths in Nigeria were related to toxic and psychosocial stresses. You see, so the thing is, it is very important for us to know how to manage stress effectively. If stress has this high percentage of deaths, so let's look at the different types of stress. Let's look at the different types of stress. So now, according to their duration, we can actually classify stress as long term or short stress, a short term, or we can actually classify it as good or bad. So we have the positive stress and the negative stress. Now, the positive stress is known as the stress because not all stress is actually bad. So stress is actually good at times. Now, when is it good? It is good when it helps us to meet tight deadlines, because our body is actually designed for survival. So, the good stress actually help to keep us safe. So when our brain senses danger, it actually triggers the stress response inside of us. Excuse me. It triggers the stress response inside of us. And that can actually, so stress is good when it helps us to escape from danger, when it brings out the resilience in us, when we find that we're able to achieve great feats that normally we would not be able to achieve. It's just like, for example, when you're exposed to danger and you scale a fence that ordinarily you would not have been able to scale. So stress is good when it helps us to meet up tight deadlines, when it keeps us away from danger, when it brings out the resilience in us. It is good. Then we have the distress or the negative stress. Now, in this negative stress, we can also classify it as short term and long term. You see, this acute stress or the short term stress can also be classified into episodic stress. When the stress is occurring frequently, the short term stress is always occurring. It's like because for some people, their everyday life is characterized by stress. And the time that they get to relax is once in a blue moon. So that's when stress is occurring frequently, we call it the episodic stress. And then the long-term stress, which is actually detrimental to our health, is known as the chronic stress or the toxic stress. So we can also classify stress according to um we also have other classification of stress, according to physical, or let's say from physical or internal classification kind of stress. So we can also classify stress according to their causes, you know. So we have the physical stress, when you have stress caused by weather or environmental conditions, or maybe you are sick, you know, or exhaustion from physical activities. This is actually classified as the physical stress. And then we also have the psychological stress, where we have the emotional, the behavioral, and the mental stress. Now, for emotional stress, just as the name implies, stress that comes from your feelings, is termed emotional stress. And then we have the behavioral stress, because sometimes you find yourself, you engage in certain behaviors that actually results to stress. When you find out that you are not sleeping well, you are not eating because of something somebody said to you or did to you, or you are overeating, so all these kind of behaviors, or you are not managing your time, or you are feeling withdrawn, you just withdraw away from everybody because you are feeling like nobody understands you and you just want to be alone, you know. So all these are behavioral stress. Then we have the mental stress. When you are mentally stressed, you find out that you are forgetful, you have decline, low cognitive function, you are forgetful, your memory, you forget things a lot, and then you have like brain fog, you don't have mental clarity. All these are psychological stresses. And then also we have the psychosocial stress. Now, this is the kind of stress that come from your relationship. A lot of people are in toxic relationship with their spouses, in their place of work, even with themselves. Because a lot of times it's our relationship with our stress. We are always critical. We are always criticizing ourselves. We're always self-critical. So, and that relationship has a ripple effect on other relationships that you have. So any stress that comes from your relationship is known as the psychosocial stress. Then we also have the psycho-spiritual stress, this kind of stress that comes from when you cannot find meaning or purpose in life. When you don't know your values, or when you are not living your values, or when you have conflicting values. You don't know the reason why you're on planet Earth. You're not finding fulfillment or joy in life. All these are psycho-spiritual stress. So there are so many factors that actually causes stress, all right? But then we are going to classify them. We Most of them fall under these four basic ones. So these four basic stressors, or the things that causes stress, are the major ones because they affect us in all ramification. So the first one is our health. The truth is, without your health, you have absolutely nothing going for you. So health is wealth, because without your health, your life is zero. Because a sick man has only one wish, which is to get well. So, and your health is more of your responsibilities than it is your doctors. So it's your responsibility to stay healthy, to live healthy, to adopt a healthy lifestyle. Because whatever affects your health affects everything else. And we have a mind body connection. So when you are physically sick, it affects your mind, it affects you mentally. So health is wealth, and health can be one of our major stressors. Then the second one is money. Financial mental disturbance is actually one of the worst kind of mental disturbances that anyone can have. Now, a lot of times when we say we don't have money and it's causing us stress, it's not really it's not a lot of times when people say I don't have money, it's not like they don't have any money at all. It's just that they have a financial limit in their mind, and they actually feel like, oh, there is a certain amount of money I'm supposed to have. If I don't have this certain amount of money, to feel like I'm financially okay, then it results to stress for them. So financial mental disturbance is a serious, very serious mental disturbance that anyone can have, because it can destabilize your life. Then we have the relationship stressors. Just like I explained earlier, your relationship with yourself and your relationship with others. But like I always say, the two most important relationship you can ever have, the first one is with yourself, and the second one is with your God. Now, your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship, because, like I said earlier, it has a ripple effect on every other relationship that you have. So, your relationship with other people as well can also be a basic stressor. So when you are in a constantly abusive environment, either be it work environment, or your environment with your spouse, or with your friends, or with your family members, and it's causing you stress continuously, it can be detrimental to your overall health. Then we have the time factor. When we lack proper time management skill, it can result to big stress when we spend major time on minor things, and then later we wonder, where did the time go? And then at the end of the day, we realize that all the things that we wanted to do, we couldn't do them. It will activate that our negative chatter in our head, and we will start criticizing ourselves continuously. And if we continue not to manage time effectively, it will also lead to it will cause the problem to persist. So every time we're always criticizing ourselves, and then it will lead to low self-esteem. It will lead to us engaging in destructive behaviors, actually. So these are the four basic stressors that anyone can have. Now, it's not like, the truth of the matter is that it's not like it's your health or any of these things that is actually causing the stress, because the situation is not the real cause of the stress. But our thoughts, our perception and interpretation of what the situation really means to us, that is actually what is causing the stress. Now, which leads us to something that I would just like to say here, because I don't think it's on this slide, but it's on the other slide. If you proceed to the stress management masterclass, you will actually find everything there. How to identify your stressors. How to identify your stressors. How do you know that you are stressed? Because a lot of times you can be stressed and you don't even know that you are stressed. So how do you know that you are stressed? So, number one, when you experience shortness of breath, or when you experience obstruction in your airflow, or you shallow breathe, then you know that you are stressed. Then another way to know that you are stressed is when you start to feel tension in your physical body, or when you feel aches and pains in your body. That's your musculoskeletal system's way of letting you know that you are stressed. Then another way to know that you are stressed is when you have low mood, when you are feeling moody, then you know that you are stressed. Also, when you experience low energy, that is another way to tell that you are stressed. Also, when you have skin irritations, that's another way to tell that you are stressed. Then, what are the major causes of stress? You see, there are so many things that can actually cause us stress, so many things, but I'll just list a few. So, here are some of the things that can actually cause us stress. So, physically, we have our weather conditions, like the temperature, extreme weather temperature, either it's too hot or it's too cold, or noise, or It could be physiological conditions like fatigue, exhaustion, lack of sleep, hunger, dehydration. These are some of the things that can actually cause us stress. Then it could also be psychological. If you are in a constant toxic work environment, or you have serious work overload, or you work in a dangerous condition, all these things can actually cause us stress. Also, when you have serious life changes, it could be in your relationship. If you are in a constantly abusive relationship, or you experience midlife crisis, you know all these things can actually cause us stress. Also, when you are trying to belong in a certain social circle and you are not accepted, when you lack social acceptance, all these things can actually lead to stress. Then we have the internal factors that can lead to stress, and they are more emotional and psychological. We have fear, worry, anxiety, perfectionism, depression, so many of these things that can actually cause us stress. So, how is the stress response activated in our system? It all starts with our nervous system, because the nervous system is actually the control center of our body. So, and your nervous system is divided into your brain and your spinal cord, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. So, now the central nervous system is divided into your brain and the spinal cord. Then we have the peripheral nervous system, where you now have nerves running from your brain and your spinal cord to every other part of your body. Then your peripheral nervous system is now further divided into your autonomous nervous system and your somatic nervous system. Now, your somatic nervous system is responsible for your voluntary activities. If, for example, you are holding a hot pot and it's burning you, it's giving you a burning sensation, and automatically you just want to drop it, but your brain will kick in, your common sense will kick in and let you know that it's not safe for you to drop this thing, because if you drop it right now, the hot content in it could spill on your body, burning you. It could cause burns, so that will cause you to bear the pain. You see, it is your voluntary is responsible for your voluntary actions. So it will cause you to hold on tight to the hot pot until you drop it in a safe place, and then you go ash. You see? And then also we have the autonomous nervous system, which is your automatic nervous system. Now, this is responsible for all your automatic or involuntary actions in your body. For example, the beating of our hearts, the digestion of our foods, our breathing, so all our involuntary actions is actually responsible for it. Now, this autonomous nervous system is now further divided into two. One is the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for your rest and relaxation. You see, that's your rest state. And then we have the sympathetic system, which is now responsible for your fight or flight mode. That is actually the stress response. So that is how the stress response is triggered. So this is exactly what I was explaining earlier. So the brain and the spinal cord. And then from there, you now have all these nerves running from your brain and spinal cord to every other part of your body, like this. So, what is this stress response? If, for example, the stress response is actually triggered in your system, what will happen is that once your brain senses danger, once it sees danger, it sees anything and interprets it as a threat or danger, what will happen is that it will send signals for your system to secrete adrenaline, and this adrenaline will now be released into your bloodstream so that you cannot have energy. See, so if you were seated before, you were resting and then you were just relaxing, and then all of a sudden you heard a gunshot. What will happen is that all of a sudden you receive energy in every part of your body. Why? Because this adrenaline has been released into your bloodstream, giving you energy to either run away from the gunshot, run, fight or flight, to either fight whatever it is or run away from the thing, the danger. So what usually happens is that digestion will stop. If you were in that relaxed state before, it will just switch automatically. It's like a light switch. Your system will just switch from the relaxed state to the fight or flight mode. So it will slow down digestion, or it will stop digestion completely, and then your eyes will open wide, trying to take in everything that is going on around you. And then you find out that your heart starts to beat faster, which will now increase your blood pressure. And then you see that you're also breathing faster because you're trying to take in more oxygen into your system. And that will now, this fast breathing will now cause you to be short of breath. You could also find out that you could be sweating. You see, so this is actually what the stress response is. Now, if you are finished running away to a safe place, away from the gunshot, what will happen is that the processes will now reverse itself. You see, your body will now switch back from the fight or flight mode to the relaxed state. You see, and all these processes will reverse. Your heart rate will slow down to normal, and then your breathing will also slow down to normal. Your blood pressure will decrease. Your eye will go back to its original squinted position, and then digestion will now start. So the process will actually reverse back to its original state. But what if it doesn't reverse? You see, that is the beginning of stress. So, and chronic stress is actually detrimental to our overall health, like we've said. So, how does stress affect our mind, our behaviors, our body, and our emotion? Now, stress can actually cause us to worry. It could lead to fuzzy thinking. You will not be thinking straight. It could lead to impaired judgment. It could lead to nightmares. It could lead to indecision, negativity, hasty decision. You see, because you are not thinking straight, because a lot of times when you want to sleep in the night, our emotions, they have a way of amplifying in the night. That is when all those negativity, the thought of all your worries and problems will now come, preventing you from sleeping. And then you start to think of many worst case scenarios. Also, it could make you to be prone to accidents, loss of appetite, loss of sex drive. It could lead to drinking more. So it could actually cause you to engage in destructive behaviors. You begin to drink more. It could lead to substance abuse. You find out that you are smoking, you are drinking, you are taking substances like drugs and other kind of substances that is not good for your body. It could also lead to restlessness, sleeplessness. So this is how it affects our behavior. Now, stress can also affect our emotion. It could lead us to have low self-esteem, loss of self-confidence. We could be easily irritated and we snap at the slightest provocation. It could lead to depression. It could lead to so many things. And then for our physical body, it could lead to aches and pains. It could affect your immune system. So it will lead to frequent infections, tension in your muscles leading to aches and pains, headache, tension headaches. It could lead to skin irritation. You could either see that you have pimple or you have other skin irritation or skin issues. And it could also lead to breathlessness. So this is how stress actually affects our minds, our bodies, and our behaviors. So this is exactly what I've been explaining all along. It could lead to high blood pressure because it is chronic stress that leads to high blood pressure, leads to high cholesterol in our system. You see, it could also lead to high blood sugar. It could lead to indigestion. So when you have all these digestive issues, it is as a result of chronic stress. Now, stress can also cause hormonal imbalance in our system, because excess cortisol will actually reduce the production of your sex hormones, your estrogen and testosterone, and that could lower your libido. A lot of people, they find out that they are not always in the mood, and this could lead to fertility problems both for men and women. It could also lead to decrease in your immune system because you are not breathing well. So your immune system, stress has a way of lowering or decreasing your immune system. It could lead to aches and pains. It could lead to you adding belly fat, fat in your belly region, or we call it visceral fat. And stress could also lead to weight gain. So for some people, it could lead to you gaining weight, while for some other people, it could lead to you losing weight. So example is people suffering from anorexia nervosa and then bulimia. Then stress can also lead to headaches, migraine, tension headaches. It could lead to brain fog, memory problem. You find out that you're always very forgetful, lack of focus and concentration, and it could lead to sleep problems. So it is important that you learn to manage stress before stress manage you. So let's talk about stress management. Now, we are not going to be looking at all the different techniques here because it is reserved for the stress management masterclass. In the masterclass, you are going to be learning a whole lot. You are going to be learning you're going to be learning different relaxation techniques and so many other techniques that can actually help you to manage stress effectively. But before we continue, let's look at some clients testimonials, some people that I've worked with. Like this person was actually having pain breathing, difficulty breathing, because person was suffering from PTSD. So here is also another person that was actually having work stress, you see. And then there's also another one that had difficulty sleeping. So one of the techniques actually helped this person to sleep better. So these are some of the things that you're going to be learning in the stress management masterclass. How to sleep better, how to stop feeling out of control, how to boost your self-confidence and your self-esteem. You're also going to be learning the various relaxation techniques. You're also going to be learning breathing techniques, the progressive muscle relaxation techniques, and so many other techniques that are there. All right. So these are just some of the testimonials from my clients. We're actually not going to be looking at this. This was me when I had serious health challenges, that was triggered by stress. I was having serious chronic stress. When I suffered from topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, and also I also suffered I suffered from topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, and I also suffered from neurodermatitis. Now, what usually happens is that this was me. I had these skin issues that it was really bad. I can't really explain all of these things today, but it was so bad. It affected every part of my life. I was not sleeping. I think in 2 weeks time I'm actually going to be sharing on this, the products I used, the stress management techniques that I used, and then how I adopted a healthy lifestyle, the components of a healthy lifestyle, these different things, all the things that I used that actually helped me. I'm going to be sharing them in another meeting. So let's look at this. This is where we'll call it a night. So we have so many techniques that can actually help you manage stress effectively. But let's just look at some of them. But if you want the full video, or you want to learn all the other kinds of techniques And even plus some of these ones, if you want to learn them in great details, they are all there in the stress management masterclass. So that's for those that we actually purchase the course. So here are some of the techniques that can actually help you to manage stress effectively. So there is the meditation, there's yoga, there's mindfulness, meditation, breathing techniques, so many techniques. All these things can actually help you manage stress effectively. Then exercise is very, very, very important because movement is life. Movement helps you to change your focus and your physiology. Movement actually help you to change your physiology, thereby changing your focus. So exercise is also very important. Now, exercise is not reserved for fat people that want to lose weight, like a lot of people believe. You see, exercise is not just to lose weight. Exercise is for everybody because it's to get your system functioning optimally because God did not create you to live a sedentary lifestyle. So it is very important that you exercise. Then we have time out in nature. You could go to natural parks, you could go to the beach, you could go for walks, so any time spent in nature because nature has a way of actually calming our minds, and helping us relax. Then another way is sleep. Sleep is very important. Sleep and stress, they are brother and sister, they are five and six. Sleep, if you don't sleep well, it will result to stress. And when you are stressed, you don't sleep well. A lot of people don't sleep when they are stressed. So, you see, the two of them, sleeplessness can result to stress, and stress can lead to sleeplessness. So, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Do you feel rested, relaxed, recharged, or you feel tired, fatigued, low energy, and you're not even ready to face the day? So your sleep should actually help you relax and recharge. Then another way to overcome stress is to connect socially because you actually feel withdrawn when you are stressed. When you are stressed, you feel like a lot of people, you feel like nobody understands you, you just want to be alone. Nobody understands what you are going through. You feel like you are alone in your world. So you feel withdrawn. So a lot of time that's usually the onset of depression. So it's important that we learn to connect socially. Either you join a club or you communicate with your family members or your loved ones, but stop being withdrawn. Stop keeping to yourself. So learn to connect socially. You can hang out with your friends, you can join a club, you can join a support group, and all of those things will actually help you to manage stress. Then food is also very essential because you are what you eat and you're also what you absorb. Because a lot of times some people are eating, but they are not even absorbing those nutrients from their food because of too much toxicity in their system. So your food is supposed to be your medicine. When you are eating well, you're not supposed to be falling sick because God actually created us to have a natural immune system. You see? So proper food is also very essential. And these are some of the things that you're also going to be learning in the stress management course. How to eat better, the eating times, how to eat according to the natural body cycle, the times that you should be eating, how to eat to optimize your health, and how to sleep better, how to sleep to optimize your health too. You're going to be learning all these things, the components of a healthy lifestyle. All these are some of the things that you are going to be learning in the stress management masterclass. Then also, the last but not the least here is time. Remember, one of the four basic stressors that we talked about was time, lack of time management. So it's important that we learn to manage our task well within our 24 hours so that it does not result to stress. And these are some of the things that you're also going to be learning in the course. How to create your Tadal list, because when we call it to do, it makes it feel like work. But then creating your Tadal list, just so that when you create the list, you're working from the list. When you finish a task, you cross it off and you say, "Ta-da!" You see, it makes it feel like fun. So these are some of the things that you're going to be learning in the stress management masterclass. How to overcome procrastination, how to manage your emotions, the 6 steps to managing your emotions, the questions that will help you overcome stress. You're also going to be learning about you're going to be learning about how to overcome procrastination, the questions that will help you overcome stress, how to stop feeling out of control, how to stop overcome worry, anxiety, and depression. So these are some of the things that you're going to be learning in the stress management masterclass. So if you would like to be part of that, you have to take advantage of that today. So you are going to be learning more about nutrition, like I said earlier. So these are some of the things that you're going to be learning in the stress management masterclass. So take advantage of it today. Send me a message on how you can actually get it. But for now, I think you can actually get it. Just click the link below and you would see, just click the link below to actually get the course. So the stress management masterclass is actually loaded, because these are some of the techniques that have worked for me and for my clients, and they are also going to work for you. So to get access to the different, so many techniques that are listed there, all you have to do is click the link below somewhere around here and you'll be able to access it. So that will be all for now. You can start sending in your questions. Any questions? Just put your question